Hello and good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, November 1st. I'm Julia Wozleski.
And I'm Aaron Fryer. Here's what's happening now.
Today we have some breaking news, and the city of Pittsburgh has actually announced that it is requiring the COVID-19 vaccine for all of its employees. So by December 22nd, everyone who works for the city must be fully vaccinated. In order to help city employees become vaccinated, they are hosting clinics at city facilities. One of the co-owners of Annalise convenience store, Nicholas Tarpley, was killed on February 12th during a shooting at the store. The death penalty is being sought after for the alleged killers Sidney McLean and Devil Christian, who were formally prosecuted on Friday, October 29th on homicide conspiracy, firearm charges, and District Attorney Jason Walsh is planning to seek capital punishment for both of the 32-year-olds if they are convicted on first-degree murder. A robbery took place near Penn State's campus on Sunday, October 31st. The incident was reported around 3 p.m. at the Fullington bus station on the 150 block of North Atherton Street. The suspect reportedly entered the office of the station, hit the clerk with a pistol, and broke into the cash register. The Penn State police report that he left through a side door. The suspect was reportedly a man in his 30s to 40s who was wearing all black clothing and is 6'6" and 230 pounds. No further sightings of the suspect have been reported.
Early Sunday morning, a juvenile was shot in McKeesport. The police were called and quickly responded to reports of a juvenile with a gunshot wound. The adolescent was found on the 1400 block of Hamilton Street, where he was taken to the hospital. The victim is now in critical condition. The police are asking anyone with information to call their tip line at 1-888-33-ALL-TIPS. Saturday night, an off-duty police detective was assaulted inside the Brookline and Sinker bar at approximately 11 p.m. Detective Michelle McHenry had been sitting at the bar before being approached by Angie Heineman, a Brookline native. Detective McHenry is currently involved in investigating Heineman's son, which spurred the conflict. During the altercation, McHenry was struck 17 times in the face. The detective is in stable condition as Heineman now faces charges for assault, strangulation, and retaliation against a witness.
Around 4:40 p.m. on Sunday, October 31st, two people were transported to the hospital after a car accident in Elizabeth Township. The crash was reported at the corner of Long Street and Lovedale Road, and McKeesport Road was closed for a period of time following the accident. One person died and 4 others were taken to the hospital on Saturday, October 30th, following a car crash in Overbrook neighborhood. The crash occurred at the corner of Sawmill Run Boulevard and Library Road around 12:20 a.m. The first car contained driver Bridget Teresa Ebert, a 23-year-old from Allison Park, PA, and 3 other passengers. Ebert was pronounced dead at the scene, while the 3 passengers and the driver of the second car were transported to the hospital. Conditions of the passengers ranged from critical to stable, while the driver was transported in stable condition. The collision investigation unit arrived at the scene and no further information has been released.
In early October, a postal worker was shot and killed while on the job in Collier Township. On October 7th, Eric Court shot the postal worker, believing the worker to have poisoned him. 58-year-old Lou Vignone was a well-known member of his community. Thus, many community members got together to put a memorial in his honor. Participants had Blue for Lou stickers along with blue ribbons posted on their cars and other spots. Throughout the event, the community raised money for the Vignone family. The University of Pittsburgh Police, alongside the Pittsburgh Fire Department, are looking into what is believed to be an arson incident within a Pitt dormitory. The fire broke out at 4:37 a.m., where the first responders were called for an oven explosion after hearing a report of a loud noise and burning smell. Police found that a fire extinguisher had been placed in the oven, causing an explosion. No injuries were reported, but the police asked anyone with information to call them.
All students, alumni, and friends who are interested in engineering are called to visit artists Oreen Cohen and Toby Fraley, the creators of the John Jay Center's installations. Cohen and Fraley will be unveiling a new surprise as well as hosting a Q&A session from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. tonight. The event is hosted by the RMU School of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, so reach out with any questions. Light refreshments will be provided. The RMU Women's Leadership and Mentorship Program will be hosting its Fall Student Speakers Series in Hopwood Hall on November 9th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. RMU students will be able to share their experiences in this TED Talk style event. The event is student-led, so students who are interested in public speaking are able to share RSVP to find out more information. Visit the RMU Revolution page.
The Pierce Center, the Center for Student Success, and the Center for Innovation and Outreach presented an informational session for students, parents, and counselors who are moving on into college with a learning disability. The event occurred on October 13th and set out a roadmap for students to follow throughout their years at college. Furthermore, pamphlets were handed out to offer effective guidance to a successful transition. On Sunday, November 7th at 3:30, the Department of Athletics is hosting a celebrity hockey face-off. The face-off will take place at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex in Cranberry. Tickets are $20 with proceeds going to support the Hockey is the Goal campaign. A few VIP packages still remain, which include 4 seats, a celebrity and alumni meet and greet, and a signed hockey stick from both team participants.
Speaking of sports, let's send it over to Colby Sherwin to give us a look at how the Colonials fared over the weekend.
Colby, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. The football team looked to keep their perfect home record against Hampton. Did they do it? Well, it looked as if the perfect record would be over as Hampton led at the half. They had an early 21-13 lead, and they would score after the break to make it 28-13. The Colonials would rally back with touchdowns from Anthony Purge and Elijah Jackson. The Colonials would stop Hampton one last time with 1 minute and 30 seconds to play. RMU played the drive perfectly to set up Nick Bisegula to deliver the game winner. He did not miss. Bisegula nailed a 34-yarder to win the game. The Colonials' comeback improves their record to 3-4 with a 2-2 Big South record as they moved into 3rd place. George Martin had a fantastic day, completing 28 of 39 passes for 315 yards and 2 touchdowns. Elijah Jackson had a big day as well, collecting 143 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. James Westry had another 100-yard receiving day as he caught 6 balls for 101 yards. The Colonials will face Kennesaw State, who was undefeated in Big South play. They are in 1st place next week at home. Now to the pitch as the men's soccer team faced Green Bay in their last home game of the regular season. Things did not go as planned as they would fall to the Phoenix by a score of 3-2. Both Charlie Lawrence and Colton Spence would pick up their first goals of the season though. In the losing effort, that moves RMU's record to 4-10-1 on the season with a conference record of 3-5-1. RMU will face IUPUI in their final game of the regular season. The women's team played their final game of the regular season against Youngstown State and were victorious against the Penguins by a score of 1-0. Haley Finale gave the Colonials their lone goal with the win in overtime. That would be her 6th goal of the year. That makes the Colonials record 6-10-3 overall with a conference record of 2-6-3. They will now wait for the Horizon League tournament schedule to determine who they will face. Next, finally, the volleyball team had their losing woes continued as they would drop both games of the week by a score of 3-1. That will make their conference record or overall record 9-17 with a conference record of 2-12. They'll face Youngstown State in their next matchup. That's all for me. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Colby. If you're looking for more on your favorite on-campus teams, you can visit colonialsportsnetwork.com.
Or visit RMU Century Media for the latest on Robert Morris, Moon Township, and Pittsburgh news.
With today starting the month of November, there's a chance that we may see some changes in the weather.
Let's send it over to Jackie Rasta to tell us what kind of skies we can expect to see today. Jackie?
Thanks, guys. And yeah, the weather and my hair do have something in common this week. Change. For today, the high is going to be 52 degrees with a low of 40 degrees. Humidity is going to be at 79%, and not to worry, chance of rain is going to be at a very low 2%. For hourly today, 3 p.m. is going to be a lot of sun, but a little cold at 51 degrees. 6 p.m. we're getting darker a lot earlier at 46 degrees, and 9 p.m. going to be a clear night at 43 degrees. For tomorrow's weather, it's going to be a high of 47 degrees with a low of 34. Humidity is going to be at a very normal 57%, and chance of rain is going to be at, again, a low 11%. That's all for me right now. How about we go back to the desk?
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up after the break, a major politician from Moon Township has died.
And one of the president's key members is tested positive, diagnosed with COVID-19. We'll tell you who it is. Stay tuned.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
I can't wait to get back to field trips with my school.
Not having to think about putting on a mask.
I really can't wait to get back to life, really.
I miss all my friends. I miss taking pictures in school.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
COVID-19 vaccines are available, and they're the first step to safely getting back to things we miss most. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people.
It's time to make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines. The dangerous new Delta variant is more than twice as contagious as the original virus and can affect anyone. Right now, 9 out of 10 hospitalizations and deaths from COVID are among unvaccinated people. Getting vaccinated might save your life, and there's now an option that's fully approved by the FDA. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Republican candidate for Allegheny County Council Joe Wise has passed away following COVID-19 complications. Despite his death, Wise will still be on the ballot for this upcoming election. Should he win, his position will be filled with another Republican. Wise was a Moon area native, having attended Moon area high school before studying college at Indiana University of Pennsylvania and Duquesne. Allegheny County Councilman Sam DeMarco says his loss will be felt by so many for a long time, end quote. Following a long battle with cancer, Thomas Richards, chairman of Pitt's Board of Trustees, died Thursday night at age 66. During his youth, Richards was known as the star point guard on Pitt's 1974 Elite Eight basketball team. He was also known for his impact and the career in the tech industry. Richards will surely be missed.
Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto announced over Twitter that his older brother, Guy A. Peduto III, passed away on Saturday. He disclosed the news in a tweet, informing people that his brother was the last surviving member of his family of 7. He mentioned that his brother and sister-in-law both devoted their lives to improving West Virginia. He tweeted, quote, "A kind and caring man. I miss him," end quote. As of August 8, 2021, 130 positive COVID cases have been reported on RMU's campus. Currently, there are 8 students and 0 faculty members in isolation who have tested positive for the virus. 11 students and 1 employee are in quarantine, meaning they either have symptoms or have been exposed to someone who tested positive and are awaiting test results.
There's a reason White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki did not travel with the President to Europe. She's in quarantine for COVID-19. Psaki said she apparently caught coronavirus from one of her family members. The press secretary says she put herself in quarantine on Wednesday when she found out members of her household had COVID. On Sunday, she tested positive for the virus. In a statement, Psaki says her symptoms have been mild because she received the vaccine. Psaki last met with President Joe Biden on Tuesday, but she says she was outside wearing a mask and was more than 6 feet apart at the time. Under White House guidelines, Psaki will be able to return to work at the conclusion of a 10-day quarantine. Following a negative rapid test, President Biden has shown a negative test for COVID-19 as of today.
The COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and the global economy still topping the agenda during the second day of the G20 summit. The U.S. President Joe Biden touting another win from his weekend in Rome and urging nations to shake loose the supply chain. Logjam Cole Higgins reports. President Joe Biden
asking fellow leaders
also announced.
U.S. President Joe Biden asking fellow leaders to take on global supply chain challenges.
Solving this is going to take all of us.
During the final day of the G20 summit, Biden announcing the major domestic steps he plans to take.
First, I'm allocating additional funding to help American partners, as well as the United States, cut port congestion by slashing red tape.
An increase in funding meant to simplify customs and clearance procedures and in turn reduce supply chain delays. Second, Biden is signing an executive order giving the Pentagon the authority to release materials from the National Defense Stockpile.
I urge all of you to consider bolstering your stockpiles, critical to national security in your countries.
New steps to shake loose the supply chain welcome news as the U.S. Transportation Secretary says the issues will still have a hold on this holiday season.
The steps that we're taking are making a difference, but the only way we can really put these disruptions behind us is to put the pandemic in the rearview mirror.
The president wrapping up his time in Rome with a notable win and what the EU Commission president is calling
a big step forward in fighting climate change.
The U.S. and EU agreeing to ease Trump-era tariffs on aluminum and steel, a move Biden says will promote green steel and aluminum production and restricts countries like China from dumping dirty steel into the marketplace. I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
President Biden also announced Sunday that his Secretary of State and Secretary of Commerce will hold a multi-stakeholder summit next year to help establish greater global supply chain resilience. Early today, Biden will head to Scotland to attend the COP26 meetings. The Conference of Parties Climate Change Conference got underway yesterday, but most world leaders will be there today and Tuesday. That's when they'll be attempting to build on the progress of the Paris Agreement.
On Sunday, Southwest Airlines launched an internal investigation following one of its pilots' use of a stand-in phrase commonly associated with insulting Joe Biden. "Let's go, Brandon" has become synonymous with an insult to Biden. Thus, when the phrase was said on the airlines, many people gasped. A statement by Southwest Airlines read, "Southwest does not condone employees sharing their personal political opinions while on the job serving our customers," end quote. Democrats have made significant progress towards their long-term goal of lowering the cost of pharmaceutical goods. The goal is to add compromise provisions which will curb drug prices to a social and environmental package. The package has had much contention between both the progressive and moderate Democrats. Ultimately, the passing of this would assist in health care, education, and the caretaking of children and the elderly. Although it may be more modest than they had hoped, the path is still there.
The first of about 250 Afghan evacuees are starting the process of resettling in Rhode Island. That includes one father and interpreter who helped U.S. forces in combat. Tyler Dumont reports.
Just off a flight Saturday night, the Fakiri family took their first steps toward a new life in Rhode Island.
It was a hell of a journey. To be honest with you, it was a chaotic moment when we were getting out of Kabul.
Aminullah Fakiri once served as a frontline interpreter for U.S. military forces in Afghanistan. Like thousands of other Afghan families in mid-August, he says he was forced to flee his home province of Kunar as the Taliban moved in.
If I not have been gotten out, my life would have been in danger.
In fear, Fakiri and his pregnant wife, along with their 4 kids, ages 2 to 10, left behind all that they knew. He says they feel lucky to now be in the United States. What have you and your family lost at home?
We have lost everything. This is very emotional to me because my country got fallen. We went down.
Now they're beginning a new life in the Ocean State as part of a resettlement program.
When they arrive here, they've been fully vetted, and the vetting process is very rigorous, it's very long.
Fakiri's once long-distant friend, Jonathan Dater, is acting as a guide.
I'm an immigrant myself. My family adopted me as a baby, and it took a lot for me to get here.
So my life is gonna be like a newborn baby here. So I'm gonna start crawling and start, my new life and enroll my kids into school and enroll myself to some, good educational institutes.
Fakiri says he also hopes to be a voice for the Afghani people who have not been able to leave, including his own parents and siblings.
We believe that we will raise again and we will be a united nation once again.
And leaders...
Coming up after the break, Colby Sherwin will be back in our sports center to give us a look at Pittsburgh sports.
And we will fill you in on how one major Pittsburgh company celebrated Halloween.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe, Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Volver a vivir esos momentos comienza con protegerlos contra el COVID-19 y sus peligrosas variantes nuevas. Obtén la información más reciente en detidepende.org o consulta con tu pediatra o proveedor de servicios médicos.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Hey, boss. Okay?
Said I'm fine.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Halloween, and the Pittsburgh Steelers were certainly up to more tricks than treats.
Colby Sherwin is in our sports studio to tell us if those risky plays earned the team a big candy bar or a fat rock. Colby?
Thanks, guys. Well, we got a sweet treat as some breaking news as Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP and three-time All-Pro, has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 mid-round picks. But going back to that, the Steelers were able to give the Browns a rock with a few tricks. But did they get the treat? As they're able to pull off a 10-15 victory over the Cleveland Browns, as I said, they had a trick to pull that did come at a cost, as Chris Boswell attempted a fake field goal attempt and that ended with him getting blasted into next week. He was concussed, he left the game, and did not come back. Boswell later posted on Instagram that he dressed up as a quarterback for Halloween and paid the price. His stats for next week's game against the Bears is up in the air. Najee Harris had a good game, totaling 91 yards on the ground with 26 carries and a touchdown. He also picked up 3 receptions for 29 yards as well. Big Ben Roethlisberger had a good game as well, going 22 for 34 with 288 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Steelers improved to 4-3 on the season and will welcome rookie quarterback Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears for Monday Night Football. The Penguins played 3 games this week, facing the Lightning, the Flames, and the Devils. The Pens lost all 3 games. First, the Pens lost 5-1 to Tampa Bay. Jason Zucker had the lone goal for the Pens. Then the Penguins got blanked by the Flames, losing 4-0. No bright spot in that game either. Finally, on night where Jeff Carter and Sidney Crosby finally made their return, the Pens failed to capitalize against the New Jersey Devils, losing this game a score of 4-2. Both Danton Heinen and Brock McGinn recorded goals for the Pens. For some news as regarding the Penguins, both Marcus Pettersson and Chad Ruhwedel were both added to the COVID-19 list. It has been a rough go of it so far for the Pens, but they look to bounce back against the Philadelphia Flyers, their rivals this week. Moving over to college sports, Pitt football played Miami over the weekend. Number 17th ranked Pitt would fall at home at a gut-wrenching loss. Both quarterbacks in the game nearly combined for 1,000 passing yards. That was a lot of offense in that game, but unfortunately the Panthers would come up short as Kenny Pickett went 39 for 55 for 519 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. And Jordan Addison had a monster game as well, collecting 8 receptions for 145 yards. The Panthers had no run game whatsoever as they only rushed for 58 yards. Pitt looks to bounce back next week as they host the Duke Blue Devils, or as they head the road to face the Duke Blue Devils. That's all for me. Let's send it back to the desk.
United Auto Workers may be ending their strike against John Deere after more than 2 weeks on the picket lines. Representatives for both sides say they have reached a new tentative agreement for the more than 10,000 UAW employees at John Deere. 90% of union workers went on strike October 14th after rejecting the first labor deal. The latest one includes increased compensation and addresses pension union issues. According to negotiations, if approved by UAW members, the new 6-year agreement would cover 12 plants and 2 parts facilities. However, union members will remain on strike until the vote.
Ketchup has long been used as a stand-in blood for Halloween pranks. Now one company is capitalizing on it. Heinz has rolled out a special edition tomato blood ketchup along with a costume kit. And yes, the blood is just regular old ketchup, but instead of suggesting it to go on burgers and fries, the condiment maker is encouraging customers to slather the sauce on necks, fingers, and other appendages, saying, if you have Heinz, you have a costume. Heinz is also selling a costume kit featuring the Halloween-themed ketchup, along with a makeup palette, makeup brushes, a tattoo sheet, vampire teeth, and eyelashes. So good news if you're still looking for a costume. A quick look in the fridge may be all you need.
Coming up after the break, Jackie Rasta will be back with a full look at this week's weather.
And we will tell you what natural phenomenon will be visible from Pennsylvania this week.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward. Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo!
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Can I get the now bar, please? $1. Have a good one. Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
You may not need to travel to Canada to catch a glimpse of one of the Earth's most gorgeous views. Aurora Borealis may be visible from your backyard in Pennsylvania. Meteorologists say that a large solar flare, expected to happen on Thursday, will cause a large geomagnetic storm that pulls the lights much further south than usual. The northern lights are expected to be visible in PA on Saturday and Sunday, but could be blocked by rain and clouds. Let's send it over to Jackie Rasta to see if the skies will be clear enough to see the northern lights this weekend. Jackie?
I cannot believe the Holy Spirit activated in Pennsylvania. Anyway, to review this week's weather, today is going to be a high of 52 with a low of 40 degrees. Humidity is going to be at 79% and chance of rain is going to be a low of 2%. For tomorrow's weather, it's going to be a high of 47 degrees and a low of 34. Humidity is going to be at 57% and another low chance of rain at 11%. For this week's weather, it looks like weather came very early. Wednesday is going to be sun and clouds with a lot more clouds at a high of 46% and a high of 46 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. Thursday is going to be the same thing at a high of 47 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. Friday, the same thing, a high of 47 degrees and a low of 31. Saturday is going to be a lot more sun than clouds at a high of 49 degrees and a low of 27. And Sunday, going to be the same thing as the rest of the week with a high of 52 degrees and a low of 31 degrees. Have a great week, everyone. That's all for weather.
What do you think about that, the Aurora Borealis being seen from Pittsburgh?
Oh, I personally can't wait. I hope that I am able to see it, because that's a once in a lifetime type of thing.
Oh, I agree. I've always wanted to see it, but I've never, been able to. So, wrapping up on that Aurora Borealis and being able to see it, that's all for us. For Jackie Rasta and Colby Sherwin, I'm Julia Wazleski.
And I'm Aaron Fryer. Stay safe and have a good week.